my name is Angelica, and this is the Angelica Unfiltered channel, where I talk about health, wellness, weight loss, but mostly fat acceptance. Today I'm doing another video going over some reels that I saved, and this theme of the video, I guess, will be like fear-mongering about being skinny-mongering, and just, I guess, the overall topic of weight loss. I feel like when people hear a lot of negative opinions about weight loss, it kind of deters them from attempting weight loss, especially if they are overweight. And I want to share my opinions as someone that is on a weight loss journey. I've lost over 70 pounds, still have a lot to go. But being in the fat acceptance community, hearing people talk about how horrible it is to lose weight, stopped me from taking control of my life and my weight for so long that I feel like it's my duty to convince people that there is a possibility to lose weight and it is the right thing to do. So let's get into these reactions. If you have any videos or topics that you would like to see me talk about, there is a Google Forms listed in the video description of this video, and I think like a majority of my recent ones. So feel free to put any links there or just any general ideas. I check that pretty frequently and keep that top of mind when figuring out what I want to talk about. And if you're interested in anything I'm wearing, I will have it linked down below. Well, let's get into this because you guys are more interested in that. And I'm filming on OBS, and I don't know if it's just because my computer is old, but I feel like my audio is, or my video is kind of laggy a little bit, so I apologize. I don't know what to do about it. So I usually do like this creator. I think I follow his podcast, or maybe it's a podcast that he has with someone else, 𝓌𝒾𝓃𝓃𝓃. I usually do like his content, but oh my god, I try to not be such a man-hater, but I really can't stand when I hear thin men like him, or what the hell is his name, Michael Hobbs, talk about body positivity dying and, you know, promote fat acceptance and, you know, telling people that losing weight is unhealthy. I mean, I'm going to assuming makes an ass out of me and you, but I assume that he has been thin a majority of his life, and I'm pretty sure Michael Hobbs has as well. And it just makes me mad for them to be talking about like how horrible it is to be skinny or lose weight. And it's like, you don't know what it's like to struggle and be fucking fat and overweight and unhealthy. I mean, I do think that men should be able to have opinions about this stuff, but it's just like coming from a place that they have absolutely no lived experience. And especially when the body positivity movement and the fat acceptance movement was so centralized around women that, I mean, it's just like, I almost feel like thin guys have like almost absolutely no room to talk about how there is a death of the body positivity movement and how it's toxic to lose weight. Because I don't want to say your opinion's not valid, but it's like, you don't know what it's like to be in these movements. You don't know what it's like to be a woman. You don't know what it's like to struggle with your weight. You don't know what it's like to literally feel guilty for losing weight because you were brainwashed about being in these communities. I just feel like they have no room to critique the movement or why people are pursuing weight loss, of course. And I always feel like when people are talking about Ozempic or dieting and being skinny, it's always about people that take it way too extreme, and they don't ever talk about the positives of obese women losing weight and how these medications like actually save people's life. Instead, it's them talking about people that abuse the medications, like celebrities or super rich thin people. And then it makes fat people who actually could benefit off the medication scared to lose weight or not want to lose weight. Starting off real bitchy. So Nikki says, why does it feel like body standards are regressing? It's never been normalized to be Lizzo's size or Lizzo's past size or Tess Holliday's current size. Maybe as a society or as like a general public, it was seen as more acceptable to be like a little bit more chubbier, you know, more like an Ashley Graham, you know, curves in all the right places. But do you see like every celebrity looking like Tess Holliday 400, 500 pounds? No. As a general society, most of us thought, you know, it's okay to be body positive and have a little bit of fluff. Not be so fat that your fucking knees give out. All right. And then he continues to say, from Ozempic to TikTok trends dieting and the marketing of a new fitness product every 10 seconds. I see some very dangerous patterns starting to repeat themselves. In this week's episode, we analyze the death of body positivity and the twisted marketing of skinny, quote unquote. For me, like, I come from a fat perspective, so that's how I view everything. But I do think that a lot of this stuff can be dangerous to people that are struggling with restriction. And I do understand that, like, people with restriction exist and their struggles are extremely valid. And I will never dismiss the pain that they're going through. But a majority of the population is overweight. 77% of the adults in the United States are overweight, 44% of them being obese. We're not having a skinny epidemic. We're having an obesity epidemic here.
Is it just me, or are body standards regressing?
No. Models have always been the skinny. We just have like maybe 8 plus size models now. Majority of the models are still super rail thin.
Was once this get slim fast supplements of the 90s has now become this rampant abuse of Ozempic.
Except Ozempic is a life-saving medication and Slim Fast are gimmick products that don't create sustainable lifestyles. And, you know, don't get me wrong, people can misuse Ozempic, but I think Ozempic does a smidge more good than Slim Fast.
Jazzercise girl has become the pink Pilates girl, or trend dieting, skinny talk, 75 hard, winter arc, summer glow up challenge, beach body fat burn, and then, oh, they're coincidentally selling you a course on how to do that?
Oh my God, it's like people are grifting on the internet. Trends come and go in every single industry.
Partnership with some fitness brand, and of course you just have to get that matching workout set, the yoga mat, the standing club, and of course the $300 a month gym membership. Your body has become a product.
It always has been a product, and I just think it's so fucking annoying that people act like this is something new. Like, this stuff has been happening forever. There is a diet and wellness industry for a reason. It's because people rely on gimmick products for miracle products for weight loss, when in reality, the only thing that is going to keep off weight for the rest of your life is creating sustainable, healthy habits. Because guess what? If you're on Ozempic and you don't fix your emotional behaviors around eating, or you don't start to eat fruits and vegetables and drink water and exercise, as soon as you come off that, you'll fucking gain the weight back. But that is true for every single product in the diet industry. And I think it's a consumer problem, not a product problem.
They have to convince you to hate something about yourself so that you see it as a problem. So
you have to convince people to hate something about themselves to see it as a problem. If you are so naive and just believe everything that people say on the internet, that's a you fucking problem. Whether that be the thigh gap in 2012 or legging legs in 2024, like, you're insecure. You have to deal with that. And, you know, if some fitness person says, oh, if you hate this about yourself, then buy this product, you have either problems with your own body image or you have a fucking spending problem. And I feel like a lot of people forget that people on the internet say shit for money. You know, people talk about new products and, you know, their Pilates class because they have affiliate links and they make money off of those things. Like, once you take a step back and detach yourself from what people are pushing on social media and realize that life goes on, if you don't take a $400 Pilates class and you don't need an Owala water bottle or a new Lululemon set because something else dropped, then you'll be a lot more content in life because you'll be able to be grateful for what you have.
Oh, they just happen to sell a solution. It has trapped you in this never-ending cycle.
And you need to take responsibility for it and not blame social media.
This is the cult of glow-up culture.
That is the cult of financial illiteracy and buying everything that people push.
It's veganism one month, then carnivore diet the next month, Soul Cycle, then Pilates, then, oh my God, I want a dancer body like 𝒸𝒾𝓃𝓃, but then, oh my God, I want to be skinny like Bella Hadid. This cycle never ends.
And that's a personal problem. And I do think that's also a societal problem, but you, as a consumer of the internet and the world, need to be able to identify those cycles or realize that, or like, just critically think about why people post certain things on the internet and not fall into those traps. If you follow someone that tries to convince you that you need to buy every fucking Stanley Cup and you need to go buy all these accessories for your Stanley Cup, and now all of a sudden you're $6,000 in debt because you have every Stanley Cup the color of the rainbow just because Mia Goth told you to, that's a you problem.
Solving the problem is not monetizable. Instead, they have to convince you it's sea moss, then bone broth, and it's this cleanse or that.
Oh my god, what would you know? It's marketing and people want to make money. And it's our responsibility as consumers, as grown women, and a handful of men that watch my channel, to not fall into these traps. It's the same shit was happening 20 years ago on Us Weekly magazine or whatever else was out back then. It's just now it's on a phone instead of on paper.
Cleanse. They are trying to sell you on the idea of one thing being a solution to a lifestyle problem.
They're trying to advertise miracle products, gimmick products. Guess what? If you fucking hate yourself because you're a fat lard, the only thing that is going to solve that is being in a calorie deficit. No sea moss, no Pilates, no fucking $50 water bottle made of lead is going to make you skinny. Restricting yourself and telling yourself no, eating a little bit less, moving a little bit more is the solution. But no one wants to do that. People will do anything except eat healthy and go to the gym.
When really all you need is a little bit of consistency and discipline. Get 1% better every day, and in 100 days, you will be where you want to be. But they don't do that because there is a lot.
Because that doesn't fucking make them money. Are we children here? Do we have like no critical thought?
More money in making you chase this idea of a fictional body type, this subjective idea of perfection. And it's so sad to me to see these body standards regressing in our culture.
I don't think it's regressing. I think people are just coming back to their frame of mind because, you know, during the pandemic, we all gained a fucking bunch of weight. And we realized, oh, hey, I've gained 50 pounds and, you know, it's starting to get real hard to just fucking climb up some stairs. Or none of my clothes fit me because all I do is sit on the couch all day and eat double stuffed Oreos. So everyone is coming back to reality and realizing that being overweight is not good, or they need to start losing that pandemic weight.
Had some years of really positive improvements. So why did these toxic body standards come back?
Because we were able to start experiencing life again after the lockdowns lifted.
Holds this cult of glow up culture together in mainstream media.
There's always been some sort of cult or glow up fascination in media. Companies like money, so they're always advertising new products for people to buy.
We set out to solve here today. Welcome back to Nikki and Night. I'm your host, 𝓌𝒶𝓇𝓾.
And I just also think it's so fucking ironic because, I mean, I know men can use beauty products and go to the gym and things like that, but it's like women are the backbone of the economy. Women spend so much more money than men on skincare, clothing, makeup, and it just, the irony, and then it's just a man talking about glow up culture and body standards when it's like, quite frankly, like almost none of that has to do with you. I know that obviously there are overweight men, but it just feels like this is so much more of a woman's issue than it is a man's issue. Not saying men can't have an opinion. I'm just saying like him just like giving his 2 cents about like women having to fit into these standards and women partaking in overconsumption to fit in because of influencers. It's like, I would just so much rather hear a woman's perspective about this than just a man's. So this is a reaction video. So Stephanie Yeboah, I probably mispronounced that. This is like a reaction or like a stitch, and this was posted 4 weeks ago. We're deeply in our fascism. I've been talking way too long. Fascism, whatever, era, baby. And the best we can do is try and challenge the rise in fatphobic rhetoric and content we've been exposed to lately. Fascism, that's how you say it. So many people are trying to connect fat phobia and fascism, and it's like, I personally feel like it is so fucking tone deaf, especially what's going on in the whole world. When there are literally wars, people being starved to death, and we're talking about fat phobia and fascism. I've been seeing a rise in pro-Anna, pro-thinness contents. It's funny how these aren't being called out for promoting thinness, yet telling a fat person to love themselves is being seen as a radical act that promotes obesity. I think that there is a difference between pro-Anna content and other people trying to help others on their weight loss journey. Because I think some content, on Skinny Talk or, some weight loss content is positive and can help people build healthier habits in their life. But not everything is toxic, like people talk about. I think some people in the fat acceptance community promote obesity or just act like it's okay when quite frankly it's not. It's literally a disease that causes more disorders and diseases. And I think if someone actually truly loves themselves, then they'll lose weight instead of continuing to be obese. Being skinny does not equate to having better health. Incorrect. Having an extreme amount of adipose tissue, being obese, is unhealthy. For many reasons, it's harder to breathe. You can get fatty liver. You can have sleep apnea, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance. Of course, just because you're thin doesn't mean that you're going to have perfect health, but it's more likely a chance. Being skinny does not boost your worth over someone else. I think people are worthy of respect at every shape and size, but that's more of an internal issue than a societal issue. I know fat people can be treated like shit, but I think a majority of the people aren't valuing a skinny person over a fat one. And despite what the media have successfully been able to do, being skinny does not make you more desirable than someone who isn't. Yeah, people will have sex with a lot of different shapes and sizes of individuals. Also, if you're someone who speaks on body image and you do not exist in a fat body, I fully expect you to speak about fat phobia when you're talking about body image. Why? Because then if a thin person talks about fat phobia, then they're just going to discredit anything that they have to say, because a thin person is not valued in the fat acceptance body positivity sphere. Otherwise, you're just someone with privilege.
Shut up.
Who exist as a part of the problem by ignoring and marginalizing fat voices. Kay, thanks. I can just tell in her face whatever she's gonna say is a fucking troll, and people who take it seriously.
It's genetics. No, babe, I just move more than you, make excuses.
That's so fucking funny. It's genetic, babes. No, I just move more than you. You just make excuses. Stay skinny. Yeah. Of course, there are certain disorders and diseases that make it harder to lose weight, but actually, scientifically, if someone is thin, it's because they're eating the right amount of calories for their height, for their weight, and they are probably a lot more active than obese people. It's not your genetics, babe. There's not a gene that makes someone fucking 400 pounds, I promise you.
Skinny, stay safe.
Stay skinny, stay safe.
Okay, that part was clearly a troll, and this girl knew that whatever she was gonna say was gonna outrage other people.
So back in our 90s era of fat phobia and pro-skinny rhetoric.
It's always been pro-healthy weight. For maybe a year or two, we were accepting of Tess Holliday being a plus-size model, even though she's super morbidly obese. But the average person that isn't in the body positive sphere, in the fat acceptance sphere, have always wanted to stay or be thin.
I'm seeing so many videos like this all over the internet, and frankly, it disgusts me.
Congratulations, you fell for the rage babe.
This narrative that being skinny is somehow the better option or it promotes an increase in health is so wrong.
No, it's actually scientifically correct.
And, the body positive fat acceptance communities, we have spent, decades now trying to teach people to unlearn this kind of thinking.
Yeah, you've been trying to brainwash people into believing in your delusion. Because it's rooted in fat phobia. No. Because you want to be fat and think it's okay, even though it's not.
Because it is rooted in fat phobia, as we all know. Being skinny does not make you better. Being skinny does not make you safer.
I think being fatter makes you safer because no one can just pick you up and throw you in a white van.
Being skinny does not make you healthier, especially since a lot of the time people try to attain being slim through dangerous methods.
And that's because they have mental health issues. People can lose weight in a healthy way. They don't have to fucking restrict themselves and eat 800 calories a day and work out for 5 hours. People can just be in a calorie deficit and go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. And it's a sustainable weight loss. Not everything is just so fucking extreme. It's either you're a fat lard who's bed-bound and eats Pizza Hut 4 times a day, or it's someone like 𝓌𝒾𝓃𝓾𝓃 that eats an apple slice and works out all waking hours of the day. Like, people need to realize that it's about fucking balance. We don't need to be so extreme. We need to be normal and average. But the brain thinks in black and white when the world actually exists somewhere in the gray.
Disordered eating and over-exercising. You are not doing your body any favors by punishing it.
Working out and eating in a calorie deficit is not punishing yourself. That is taking care of yourself. If you think exercising is a form of punishment, I'm sorry, but you have mental health problems. Seek help.
This enforces body shame, especially in kids and teenagers.
How? If you do not have a healthy relationship with food and exercise as a parent, then that will be pushed on to your children, not media. If a kid has a solid foundation, confidence, and a healthy relationship with food and exercise, they won't give a fuck about if someone is on a magazine cover, if they're on People magazine because they gained 10 pounds. They're going to say that and be like, okay, someone gained 10 pounds. They're not going to have their emotions wrapped up in it.
It dehumanizes and marginalizes people simply for existing in our bodies. I want you guys to take away from this is that body size is not a proxy for health, worth.
Someone's size has nothing to do with their worth, but someone's size does have something to do with health. You cannot be healthy at 300 pounds. You can do healthy things. You can drink water and you can work out and eat healthy food. But at a point, you are still partaking in some unhealthy behaviors because you are extremely overweight. But if you keep doing healthy things, then you'll lose weight.
Intelligence.
No one is equating fat. I don't know. Is that true? Do people think fat people are dumb? Some of them are, but so are some fucking skinny people are dumb. I think most people equate fat people with ignorance or maybe gluttony, because technically you do have to be overeating to be overweight. And people can see fat people as ignorant because they don't put in the time and effort to learn about nutrition or exercise.
Or willpower. People of all sizes deserve respect, dignity, and equitable treatment.
True. And those fat people should go seek treatment from their doctor and lose weight.
And it's a shame that in the current climate that we're in, we're being accosted with so much pro-slim, pro-skinny.
Because we almost have to undo what we did. The pendulum swung so far to the other side. It swung so far in the fat positivity, fat acceptance sphere that it has to come back. And maybe it is going back to the other side of the pro-skinny era, but it's people need to hear the truth. People need to hear that it's unhealthy to be fat. Because for a point in time on the internet, people were, and I guess still, talk about how that it's okay to be fat, and scientists don't know how to make fat people permanently thin, and 95% of diets fail. People need to hear the fucking truth, but the truth is being coined as pro-thin, pro-skinny. Of course, I know that there's toxic people out there, but a majority of the people are just sharing science and debunking fat acceptance bullshit rhetoric.
Pro-extreme weight loss content.
I rarely see super extreme weight loss content. It's all very reasonable, and most people sharing sustainable habits. Of course, if you're on the dark side of the internet, you're going to see that, but I feel like that's a personal responsibility. If your algorithm is so fucked up, then there's clearly something going on with you. Because all of the weight loss influencers I follow preach about balance some people get weight loss surgery and they explain that it's not for everyone. Some people I follow promote GLP-1s, but they explain that it's not for everyone, and that was just their journey. And then I follow dietitians or personal trainers that, give people tips on how to start slowly implementing healthy habits into people's lives. I rarely see anything super extreme. I don't think I've seen anything super extreme since I was on Tumblr in high school.
It's a very disgusting minefield to have to go through at the moment. The best that we can do is to keep challenging fat phobia by unlearning bias and embracing body diversity and challenging people's language towards bodies.
I think Skims does a pretty good body diversity. They show a lot of people of different sizes and shapes and different abilities. I've seen models, I think Parade does that too, where they'll show people that, are wearing their garments, but they're in wheelchairs, or they have to use wheelchairs, or different sort of mobility devices. I think that sort of body diversity is good. I want to see people of all different races, all different skin tones in different clothing and makeup and skincare and stuff like that. But we don't need fucking 600-pound models. We don't need to see that because, first of all, being that heavy is so rare. I think it's fine or understandable for people that, run businesses for plus size clothing or undergarments, or I don't know, or, maybe a company that sells furniture for super fat, obese people. But it's I don't think there's that much lack in diversity. I shop at Old Navy, and there's models on their websites that are small, medium, large, extra large, 2X. So many people in the fat acceptance sphere, in the body positive sphere, they preach so much about clothing brands needing extended sizes, when it's yes, a majority of the population in the United States is overweight, 77% of them being overweight, 44% of those people being obese. But it's a majority of those obese people, they're still in the first class. They're still, I wouldn't say, they're I don't want to say a normal size of fat because it's not fucking good or normal to be fat, but it's not a majority of the people that are obese. They can still shop at Torrid. They can still shop in person, maybe the top sizes are 20, 22, 24. We don't need every single fucking store to go in a 4, 5, 6X because there is such a small amount of people that fit into those sizes. And I know, I guess does it sound bad to be we don't need that representation, but it's I think that there are different types of diversity that we should be focusing our efforts on. I don't know, maybe that's a hot take. I think there is a better way to allocate our diversity. Am I saying that right? I don't know, I can't even speak right anymore. Diversity efforts, rather than forcing small businesses to carry a 7X in their clothing pieces when they have no customers even close to that size. And I actually follow this woman, Welcome to Heidi. I really like her content, but it's so hilarious. She writes, "The patriarchy likes them so skinny they can't fight," when she's a thin woman. Or the patriarchy or the man or, all these giant corporations, the fast food industry, the sugar industry, the junk food industry, the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, they want fucking people fat because fat people are buying more food. They need more medicine because they are sicker. I don't know. I don't think that there's any industry that profits more off of obesity than people. I personally can't think of one off the top of my head. And sorry, it's starting to rain. So hopefully the lighting or nothing gets fucked up here. Oh, look, we have Alan right here in the comments. "You were born skinny also. You just abused your body when the skinny person didn't." All right, I don't even know what this video is about. Raquel Benita says, "I thought we were doing better, girls." And the text on the screen says, "Skinny talk needs to STFU." That's not nice. What is up with this fucking vulgar language?
If I see one more girl in an aloe set who was born skinny, who has never struggled with her weight.
I mean, I guess depending on how fat you were as a baby, I think a majority of us were born a normal size, unless you're like a football player and we're just like a fucking ginormous baby.
Talk about being skinny and weight loss, I will literally, skinny talk is doing the wrong thing. You can empower people to be healthy and fit and learn how to lose weight in a healthy way.
I feel like a lot of the people I follow that are thin, you know, like that are weight loss channels that have like already lost the majority of their weight, they do give helpful habits. And I think sometimes people take the hard advice, or maybe people that are a little bit more blunt, they take that as toxic or unhealthy. I forget. I need to figure out what her fucking name is. I'll put her video on the screen.
You don't plan for picky eaters, you're not a picky eater, you just don't like vegetables. What if I'm an actual picky eater? Then you wouldn't be so big. You keep saying you're a picky eater. How are you so large? How to stop overeating, talk to a specialist. Why do I crave sugar so much? Because you're addicted to it. Most people are.
And she says things that, you know, probably are harsh for some people to hear, but it's literally like the truth. I remember one thing that she said that stuck in my mind is like, you're not a dog, you don't need a treat. Like, things like that. People say stuff like that, and the people that hear that get triggered.
And then you can just be toxic and annoying. We are literally supposed to be moving away from that narrative. If I wanted to still do that, I would just go back to 2005, where everything was about skinny. I've literally based my entire career on empowering women.
Okay, so when you see someone post something on social media, think, why are they saying this right now? And here you go. I've literally based my entire career on empowering women enjoying life. Let's go on her Instagram. My hair looks so fucking flat. Oh, here we are. The life of a curvy, holistic nutritionist who loves a Diet Coke. So the things that she's saying is right now is marketing, which I don't blame her. You know, girls got to make some fucking money. We all have bills to pay. And it reminds me of that one lady. I don't even know her name. That one nutritionist that made videos about 𝓁𝒾𝓃𝓀𝓈. Or 𝓁𝒾𝓃𝓀𝓈. Think, why is this person saying this? Because she has a business she's trying to promote. I mean, she probably does believe in this message. I will give her the benefit of the doubt, but why are people showing you their new Lululemon sets and their Stanley Cups? Because they want you to click their affiliate link and make them some money. The same way that she's talking about, you know, diet culture. She wants people to click on her profile and potentially become one of her clients.
Enjoying life and being healthy and getting into fitness and being a nutritionist who lives in a realistic body.
A realistic body? I mean, I guess so. I'm not really good at guessing people's weight, but I feel like she still is probably overweight. And just because she's a nutritionist doesn't mean that it's okay that she's overweight.
If I hear one more girl...
Yeah, from that side view, she does look... I mean, she doesn't look fucking humongous. I feel like she's probably maybe around my size.
One more girl come on here and say, here's how I eat 1,000 calories in a day. Here's how my friend and I share one latte because 2 lattes are fattening.
Okay, it's like you need to be able to decipher when someone is posting unhealthy content. But also, some people post things online literally just for the bait to get views. Social media is a business. So, like, TikTok views, Instagram views, YouTube views is a business. People are going to look at their analytics and say, oh, well, when I posted this bait video and I lied about me and my friends sharing a coffee because we're scared to have 100 calories, maybe we should have some critical thought and thinking, maybe this is clickbait. Or, you know, remember, people can lie on the internet. Maybe those 2 people that shared a latte were lying and they actually had their own. Or maybe they just posted that video because they knew it'd get views because people would be outraged and leave comments and then it'd go viral and then they'd make some money. Or they would just get attention. How about that?
Literally do things that I'm not supposed to do. So stop it. That request is made from me and all the other girls on this app. So thank you.
She speaks for everyone. Even me. Even though I didn't ask her to. I'm sorry, but if you are a grown woman, because we're not girls here, we are grown women. If you are a grown woman, you need to be able to have critical thought when you're on the internet. You cannot believe everything that you see at face value. If you see someone posting a what I eat in a day video and I only had 1,000 calories, no, you need to be able to think, wow, this person either is 3 foot tall, so that's maybe enough calories, or they have a problem with disordered eating, or that they are lying. Start to think about the things that you watch. Don't take everything at face value, please. Let's use our fucking brain. I know it's hard to think for ourselves nowadays. There's apparently a correlation between the rise of conservative values and glorifying skinniness. Stop bringing body weight into politics. Don't forget they're also like 22 years old. Come see me in 40 years, sweetie. We're not supposed to get fucking fat as we get older. There are multiple studies shown that as we get older, the reason that we gain weight is because we're not moving as much. Our metabolism literally slows down. Like Alan Rogers, I watched this in one of his old videos. It was like your metabolism slows down, like, and you need like 60 less calories a day from like when you're 20 to 30 or something. Like it's not that extreme. If you gain a bunch of fucking weight from when you were 20 to when you are 45, that's because you ate too much. It's not because your metabolism. Let's take some responsibility for our actions, okay? I'd rather be chubby and happy than skinny and sad. If you're sad because you can't fucking overeat, you have an unhealthy relationship with food. And you can still eat whatever you want when you're skinny or when you're losing weight. You can either just make it with healthier ingredients, or you can just have a smaller portion. I cannot believe this is happening again. How have we learned nothing? And then everyone's just guessing her up in the comments. Oh, I actually like this one. I accidentally like almost like everything I see on Instagram. I was talking to my husband about this, and he's like so stingy with his likes. I feel like I just like everything out of habit. And my husband will be like, isn't this cool? And he'll show me something, and I'm like, if it's cool, why didn't you like it? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, don't you like the things that you see? I do. Guys, there's a storm. I'm scared. Kim of the internet says, trigger warning, body image. Oh, fuck. I didn't put a trigger warning on this video, guys. Trigger warning, fat bitch. Talking about weight loss. Trigger warning, trigger warning. Comment sections like this make me sad, but I'm grateful for their reminder of how far I've come. Breaking chain emoji. Here's your reminder to decouple your sense of worth from how your body is perceived. Okay, love you. All right, let's see what Kim has to say. And the text on the screen says, the internet is back to being obsessed with skinny. One tear cry emoji.
So the internet is back to being obsessed with skinny again. I see things like this all the time, and it reminds me of the early 2000s.
So on the screen is a Star magazine, Kim alone and binge eating. Back and elbow fat. I feel like this was when she was pregnant or something. People just fucking bullied the hell out of her when she was pregnant with. I feel like this is her first kid when she was pregnant with, I was about to call her Storm. That's not her fucking name. Northwest. Packed on 22 pounds. Kim Kardashian is so fucking petite. So if she puts on 22 pounds, it probably seems more extreme than taller people. I'm pretty sure she's like maybe like 5'2" or something.
As a teenager, and between my Vietnamese upbringing and the Y2K, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, I was fighting body dysmorphia.
I think it's very interesting to hear people that aren't white talk about their experience with weight and just like how different culture treats fat people or weight gain or weight loss. Because like my husband is Hispanic, and you know, when we used to go over to his family's house all the time, they would always be like, wow, you've lost so much weight, you need to start eating more. But then like when he was growing up, he was like a pretty chubby kid, and people would like always call him gordo, which means like fat in Spanish. And it's like, I feel like in some cultures, I think it's very common in Hispanic cultures, and I think Asian cultures too, just to like constantly comment on people's weight, when I think maybe white people are just more sensitive and they kind of have to, I don't want to say tiptoe around things, but they're more discreet in commenting on people's weight.
Are so undesirable because I'm overweight, which is wild because this is what I looked like when the world told me I was fat.
Yeah, it's so funny to like look back on the days when, you know, you were a teenager and you thought you were fat, and you're like, I would kill to be that thin right now. Like when I was in high school and I thought I was fat, I was like 150 to 175. I'm a ways away from those numbers.
I'm actually a juicy, thick 32-year-old woman, and it took me many years of therapy and work to love myself again, and more importantly, decouple my sense of self-worth with how my body was being perceived. Now I focus on what my body allows me to do. She's carried me all over the world. She has the strength and flexibility to practice BDSM and create
BDSM.
Of joy. She helps me move and dance and walk and love. So while the internet,
I feel like she looks like she's like a healthy weight, or like maybe like slightly overweight. She's not like super morbidly obese, which is when your weight and how big you are actually starts to affect you.
Feeling increasingly dark, I'm holding on to that hard-fought self-acceptance. And today, I hope you love on your body for what it enables you to do.
I do think it's really important to actually be honest with yourself and sit there and reflect and listen to what your body's telling you. And I think a lot of us just become so numb to what it's like to be overweight, or, you know, you get used to struggling to breathe, or it's hard to walk upstairs, so you don't think anything of it. But, you know, taking the time to be like, wow, walking just to my car from the grocery store is very difficult. But a lot of people in the fat acceptance community dissociate themselves from their body so they don't feel the sensations that they're actually struggling with. All right, here we have another nutritionist. This happens to be a thin one, and the song playing is Party for You, Charlie XCX. The caption says, so calorie restriction most of the time leads to gaining the weight back over 80% of the time. Can you quote whatever study you're talking about? And that's the person's issue, not the calorie restrictions issue. And often we gain back more. Sounds like if you're struggling with that, you have a problem with food. One reason is because the diet is often unsustainable. And that's your fault for having an unsustainable diet, because you are restricting yourself too much that you can't maintain it. Another reason is that your body is literally trying to keep you alive, so it slows down your metabolism. See, this is the fucking fear-mongering that all these stupid-ass health at every size dietitians do. Guess what? Your metabolism does slow down when you lose weight, but that's because it doesn't need 3,000 calories to maintain 120 pounds. Yeah, I guess it fucking sucks that you can't eat as much as you did when you were obese, but you should be happy that you fucking lost weight. Most of us aren't going through famines, and our body isn't trying to keep us alive, because a lot of us are eating well more than we need. My advice, focus on eating enough. People are eating more than enough. Focus on eating enough and building your meals for, I don't know how to say this word, satiety, or basically satiating, eating enough carbs, fat, and protein and fiber in each meal. Most people don't do that. Most people just eat whatever they want, unless they're on a weight loss journey or they're trying to build, unless they're trying to bulk and build some muscle. Focus on feeling full, and eventually you will get back in touch with your hunger cues and metabolism will regulate. If you aren't in touch with your hunger cues, then you probably have some sort of disordered eating patterns. Working with a coach and dietitian can be really helpful with this process. See, why are people posting the things that they do on social media? Because she's promoting her business, which I understand, a woman's got to do what she's got to do, but just keep that in mind when you see posts like this. I understand, it's not her fault, but I feel like a lot of people that promote health at every size or say, focus on eating enough, focus on feeling full, all of this advice and, advice and things that people say from health at every size, they're probably good for people that struggle with restriction. But people that post content like this, nutritionists that post content like this, are most likely gaining an audience that is fat acceptance coded or very parallel, that are probably struggling with overeating rather than people that are restricting that would benefit from hearing stuff like this. And then, so this person is stitching the video. Here's the dietitian on the left, and then she's stitching this video. Hey, skinny TikTok, but eating little to no calories actually slows down your metabolism severely. If you're not eating anything, then your body is going to eat the stored fat on your body. I think most people on Skinny Talk are not saying, eat no calories, eat something so little. I think, it's just going to such an extreme. I think Alan Roberts talks about this in his videos, and maybe some other anti-fat acceptance people, but it's I don't want to discredit people that are nutritionists or dietitians. I think dietitians are the one that actually have schools or are required to go to school. But a lot of the information in the studies that people follow when they're studying dietetics or nutrition are funded by the junk food industry. There is some sort of bias in their education. The sun's starting to come out again, if you can't tell on my face. I follow this woman. I really like her content most of the time. So the caption reads, "It's not that serious," a bunch of emojis. "Can 100% coexist with," and then a bunch of food emojis. "Don't let the great diet culture resurgence of 2025 tell you any different. Comment fries, and I'll send you the link to this outfit." All right. Follow Fashion Veggie for all things body neutrality, postpartum, body confidence, self-love, and curvy fashion. And no hate to the original creator, 𝓌𝒾𝓃𝓾, please. She has her perspective and I have mine. No hate, but I made this video responding to her because I think everything she said was bullshit.
Not as bad as I want.
So the video that she's stitching says, "I worked a 12-hour shift and wanted Chick-fil-A so bad, but not as bad as I want to wear the teeniest, tiniest, nearly non-existent bikini." And she's choosing not to give in to her cravings so she can wear a bikini. I think that's reasonable.
The teeniest, tiniest, nearly non-existent bikini this summer.
No! Not nothing.
Oh no! A woman making decisions for herself. No! A woman doing things I wouldn't. Oh my god, no! Toxic!
It's as good as skinny feels being acceptable to say out loud again. I honestly did not think we were quite there. Well,
I feel like people think that phrase is so toxic. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. I guess depending on who says it or like how they say it, but it's like, but if like you're fucking 400 pounds and you're trying to lose weight, yeah, nothing feels as good as skinny feels compared to binging at Golden Corral. You need to tell yourself, sometimes you have to tell yourself no and restrict yourself from your cravings. That's not unhealthy. But at the same time, I don't think that we should be so restrictive that we can't enjoy small things in life. Like, I know I always say that like we shouldn't live for food or center ourselves around food, but we should still be able to enjoy the food that we eat while we're losing weight. Because if you're not enjoying things or you're restricting yourself too much, then you are just gonna binge or fall off of your calorie restriction.
we are going to conduct a little experiment together today because I'm almost sure that we can eat what we want and wear what we want at the same time.
Yeah, I guess so, but it is her personal choice not to get Chick-fil-A. I mean, technically we can eat whatever we want. It just has to be in our calorie maintenance or calorie deficit. But I understand why people don't want to eat fast food because there's so much sodium and you can technically gain water weight.
But let's see. Honestly, F Chick-fil-A forever. That will just always be my stance, but I did order some fast food that presumably has similar caloric content. Wish me luck.
Okay, so she's eating a Whopper. I don't understand why she has to eat for this.
Oh my gosh, my hypothesis has been confirmed. Wearing a swimsuit, the sky is not falling down, nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares what you do with your body, so why do you have to make a video talking about what this lady did with her body?
Life, eat your food, wear what you want, because it is simply not that serious.
I don't know, if she... if I was gonna wear a bikini that was this skinny, like the woman in the first video was talking about, I think maybe 2 I would also cut back because, you know, I got a lot of fat rolls still, so if I wore something that's small and skinny like this, my fat rolls would just flop over it and I'd probably look like I was nude. Someone says in the comments, I feel like it's okay for people to have different goals and not to hate each other for it. Snaps. If her goal is to be super fit and wear a tiny bikini, but yours is also to enjoy food you like and not have so much anxiety at the beach this summer, I don't think it's fair to hate on the other girl. How would you feel if the roles were flipped? Yeah. Oh my god, that skinny girl would get so much shit if she talked poorly on a fat woman just eating whatever she wants and wearing a bikini. I don't know, seems like you're shaming someone on pursuing her goals. It's all about balance. I work out 5 times a week, but if I want a damn cheeseburger and fries for dinner, guess what? I'm gonna eat it. This post did not have to be as controversial as y'all are making it. One burger or cookie isn't going to mess up your whole path, babes. I don't know, some people have to restrict themselves from fast food because it will send them down a bender. Or maybe she just posted this on social media because she knew it would cause rage bait. It's not that one meal of fast food makes you unattractive. The reality is food like that is pumped full of chemicals, is so overly processed and fried in poison. It's not really food. You are poisoning yourself. I think, okay, this is a little bit extreme, but I understand that once you get in the habit of having fast food, it can be a downward spiral. It's no good for anyone, regardless of how they feel in a swimsuit or their own clothing, and most people don't recognize that until they take the time to analyze the difference, eat healthy for 2 weeks, and then have a McChicken, fries, and a fried pie. Sure, it'll be tasty, but you will feel terrible. That's not the self-esteem, it's the physiological changes. The mental gymnastics some go to excuse patriarchal... Shut up! I don't want to hear about the patriarchy, especially when it comes to weight and looks, because there are some men out there that have intercourse with dead bodies. My husband loved me when I was 70 pounds heavier, and every pound in between. Of course, there's some men out there that have their opinions about what women look like, but most of the time, those men hate women. The mental gymnastics some go to excuse patriarchal and disordered thinking is so weird. Nothing's wrong with being skinny. No one ever said that. But the original video is disordered eating. No, she decided she wasn't going to eat Chick-fil-A because she wants to wear a fucking bikini. Not discipline, not healthy goals. I think it's pretty healthy to not let yourself have fast food. I'm sure she has food in her fridge, in her cabinets that she could eat instead. It's not like she's starving herself. I just did a emotionally and physically taxing activity. I don't want a one-time reward, but I can't because of how I may be perceived in a few months. We don't need rewards for doing simple tasks. Like that one lady says. You're not a dog. You don't need a treat. And if she has a goal in a few months to wear a fucking string bikini skinnier than my earphone wires, then more power to her. This implies that she loses value if she were to gain weight and wear a bikini. It implies that gaining weight disqualifies her from wearing a bikini. No. She wants to be super fit and thin so she can wear a bikini and not feel insecure. That's her personal choice. It's literally not that deep. And it implies that she is restrictive in general and that the excessive restriction is the only way to be happy. No, it sounds like you are the one with fucking eating and mental health problems because this woman literally said 2 sentences. Regardless of what the poster intended, she made this content within our current socio-historical context of body image issues and a new rise in skinny propaganda linked to fascism. Or sometimes when I read this stuff, it's literally womp, 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 Charlie Brown in my fucking brain. Someone's personal choice has nothing to do with fascism. Her not wanting to eat Chick-fil-A doesn't mean that she's contributing to skinny propaganda. She's not a fascist because she wants to wear a fucking itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini. What about bodily autonomy? What about women being able to do whatever they want with their body? Oh yeah, but she has disordered thinking patterns, and because she wants to wear a super skinny bikini and be fit, she's falling for the patriarchy. Shut up. Do you fucking read anything that you write and put on the internet? Like, you guys sound so fucking stupid. What are the replies to that? There's 6 replies. 178 likes, 6 replies. Sent you a message. Fast food is disordered too. Yeah, if you eat a bunch of fucking fast food all day, every day, you're disordered too. Talk about mental gymnastics, laugh emoji. It's not about a one-time thing. It's about the habits you have to create for yourself that may not be the easier / more pleasurable one, but will be what it takes to achieve your goals long-term. Girl, and she has the right to do what she feels is best. Everyone is programmed by something. Let women make their own choices without extreme video responses that are weird by another woman bigger in size living up to another propaganda. Yeah, exactly. Oh, she's falling for the skinny propaganda? Well, you're falling for the fucking fat propaganda, okay? We're all brainwashed in some sense. So let me know what you thought of that skinny fear-mongering on Instagram. I would love to read your opinions down below in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video. And if you enjoyed me, consider subscribing. I would love to see you back here again. And by the time I edit and post this video, I will be well past 10,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for subscribing. I will make sure to figure out some sort of giveaway soon and post it in the next video or the next upcoming videos. I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. So everyone that wants to participate can. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Peace.